Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and welcome to another edition of Let's Taste. My first one in, I think, a few weeks actually. Had other things on the go. In fact, last weekend, for example, went along to the Millon Wine Festival, helped out pouring, and got to not only listen to some really amazing people involved with wine, talk about some really interesting topics, but also taste some wines from all around the world, which was fantastic. Thank you to everyone involved for allowing me to help out in some way and to learn so much. It was amazing. Very excitingly, last night I finally had my Sangiovese grapes delivered that I have purchased from the Heathcote region, and I will be very, very excited to keep you updated about my progress with my first official wine that I'm making for myself. So stay tuned for all of that. But a little while ago, quite a while ago in fact, it's taken me a while to get around to tasting these wines, I was contacted by Josh, who was very keen for me to have a look at the wines from this winery, which he explained to me has historically been sold overseas, but is now being made available in the Australian market, which is very exciting. All four of the wines here are from Millon Estate, and they are all grown, they're all made from fruits grown in the Eden Valley. The Eden Valley is a particular part of the Barossa. It is probably one of the coolest spots, cooler spots. I combined spots and a spot and part there. One of the cooler parts of the Barossa. So the Barossa is kind of broken up into a number of different sort of sub-regions. The Barossa Valley itself is actually a part of the Barossa, but it's a smaller part, whereas the Eden Valley is a different part of the Barossa. It's historically where you find quite a bit of white wine, whereas the Barossa Valley itself is very much a red wine kind of sub-region. So we have four wines here. They each have a recommended retail price of just under 20 Australian dollars. So let's get straight into it. Let's start tasting these wines. To start off with, we have the Riesling 26. I'm not sure what the numbers refer to. Josh, if you could let me know in the comments what the numbers refer to. But we have the Riesling from Millon Estate. The only wine here under a screw cap. So I'd be interested to know what the export markets were for these wines. If I were to guess, I would say the United States. So colour-wise, very classic Riesling, you know, quite bright, crisp kind of yellowy green colour. Very varietally pure and correct. That sort of citrus, that little bit of stone fruit, it's quite exuberant and juicy. You get just, you know, a small amount of that kind of mineral character you tend to see in Riesling grown in the right spots, particularly in Eden Valley and Clare Valley in South Australia. Yeah, it's very exuberant. I think it's been, you know, a nice, clean stainless steel fermentation, and probably hasn't seen any oak whatsoever. Let's taste. Nice and ripe, quite juicy. It has the impression of a bit of sweetness, but I think that it's fruit sweetness itself. I would say there's probably a little bit of residual sugar in there, possibly up to 10 grams per litre, which just softens out the back end. It has good acidity. It's certainly not aggressive or too bracing. It is you know, very fresh, lovely, juicy, clean, just absolutely textbook example of Riesling. you know, it has a little bit of a florally kind of character, sort of, I would say, sort of peach blossom maybe. There's just a little bit of viscosity in there as well. You know, it's just a lovely kind of juicy, clean, refreshing. You will not be disappointed with the Riesling. Okay, let's move on to the Shiraz, which is numbered 9. Shiraz, of course, is the grape variety most closely associated with the Barossa region in general. Old vines. You have some quite iconic Shiraz wines from the Barossa, particularly from the Eden Valley, which is where, for example, Henschke is based, who produce what many consider to be the second most famous wine in Australia, which is the Hill of Grace, which, from memory, is a Shiraz, at least Shiraz-based wine. So, I guess compared to the Barossa Valley itself, the valley floor, the Eden Valley probably is a slightly more aromatic and lighter style. It's still pretty, you know, you still get some pretty dark, intense characters, but it's just a little bit fresher than the Barossa Valley. Natural cork as well, important. So, nice and dark. Dark fruits, quite plummy, but earthy as well, sort of dark red fruits. There's some currants in there, sort of brooding as well. Let's say 2014, reasonably warm. Good aromatics. Let's taste. Again, it's fairly exuberant, it's fairly juicy, it's fresh. Initially it looks a little bit warm, the alcohol is showing a little bit stronger on the front, but it cleans up towards the end, it lightens up a little bit. Possibly a little bit short on the palate, but that's possibly more a varietal character. It has some darker notes, a little bit of earthiness as well, some sort of red earth characters. It is, look, certainly for $20, I think you'll be pretty happy with that. It just has a little bit of astringency on it. It's a little bit awkward. Moving on, Merlot. Merlot has unfortunately copped quite a beating in the last 10 to 15 years. It's interesting, you tend not to see as much Merlot dominant wines. You know, it's very much a new world kind of thing, particularly Australia. You know, we like varietal wines in the sense that they are made from one grape variety. But Merlot has, you know, it had its image kind of messed with. It got very popular for a time there. Okay, let's have a look at the Merlot. I can't quite work out if there's something wrong with the cork or not. Does not look good, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's possible this bottle has unfortunately been affected by a bit of heat during transit, because it's looking quite stripped and a little bit ugly on the back. So I'm not gonna say anything about this wine, because I really think it has been affected by transportation, so apologies, Josh. Fresh glass for the final wine, which is the Cabernet Sauvignon. Very clingy foil on these bottles. Of course, Cabernet Sauvignon, most closely found with, or most often found with Merlot. This is nice and dark and dusty, on the plummier side. Plum, cassis, you know, very classic varietal characters. Let's taste. Yeah, there's even some sort of capsicum characters in there, which is something that I tend to see in Cabernet, ripe red capsicums. So, yeah. Again, these are all, well, apart from this, the Merlot, which unfortunately was not showing very well. These are very classic expressions of their grape varieties. So I think if you want to sort of look at very textbook examples of very classic Australian grape varieties, then definitely seek out the Millon Estate wines, because I think that they are very, very, very good, you know, very approachable wines for under $20. Thank you guys for watching this tasting. It's nice to be back for Let's Taste after a brief hiatus. I do highly encourage people listen to some of the recent episodes of the Vincast. I had some really outstanding guests on who shared some wonderful stories, and I look forward to sharing some more Let's Taste videos with you soon. Please come to intrepidwino.com if you'd like to get in contact with me. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at intrepidwino. But until next time, cheers!